East LA College is proud to host LA Barrio Stories and LA Boulevard News. ELEC stands as a beacon of empowerment and opportunity within the Chicano community, consistently ranking first in the United States for total enrollment of Latina and Latino students. ELEC not only fosters academic excellence, but also honors the rich cultural heritage and resilience of Chicano and Chicana stories, making it a vital institution for nurturing future generations.
This message brought to you by Chicanos por la Causa.
Bienvenidos and welcome back to another segment of La Plática. I'm really excited about our next show, which is called Los Angeles Boulevard News. We're launching that today. We're here at the historic ELAC College, East Los Angeles College, which has been an icon for educating our community. We want to give a shout out to the president, Dr. Roman, and his staff for being so helpful in allowing us to stage our show here today. To find LA Boulevard News in the future, you will download the Latino USA TV app, and then you can click on that icon, and it will take you to all the stories that will be coming out in the future. So stay tuned. Today, I'm happy and honored to interview Mr. Art Limon, president of the Los Angeles Lowrider Alliance, and he's got a great story. And of course, what we try to do here is we try to promote our Chicano culture in a positive way. We have a beautiful culture. We have mariachi, we have lowriders, we have educators, and so we're talking about the beautiful things and changing stereotypes about us. So welcome, Art, and tell us about your family, and then we'll get into the Lowrider Alliance.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Leyba. I appreciate it. And my name's Art Limon. I was born and raised in Compton, California, from the beautiful, proud parents of Delia and George Limon. I'm second generation. Mis abuelos they came from Guadalajara and Aguascalientes, and I'm the oldest of 10 children, 7 boys and 3 girls. And even though we were poor, but we didn't know we were poor because we were rich with relationships, and we were rich with the love and my mom and dad gave us.
Now you have a really unique story with 10 brothers and sisters. Being the oldest, you had a lot of extra responsibilities, right?
Yeah, that's correct. My dad raised us up real close. And my dad was a genius. He was a metallurgist for Lockheed, and he specialized in metallurgy. And he was always telling me, "Mijo, you're the oldest. The 3 girls are the youngest. Make sure you take care of the girls and don't let nothing happen to them."
Right.
I said, "Okay, Dad." So I was the oldest, raising them up, and that's kind of the cultura de la raza mexicana and the chicanismo. The oldest is always the patriarch with the word.
Right. So growing up here, I know you had some tough times, and you were able to overcome those tough times. I think that made you the person, the Chicano leader that you are today. Tell us a little bit about those tough times.
Yeah. Back in the late 60s, mid 60s, we were on welfare, and for reasons beyond, that's another segment. And we were on welfare, but at that time, the county was your husband. You can't have your husband living in the household while you're receiving welfare. So we got reported, and my mom and dad went to jail over it, and we were put into black foster homes during the 60s, mid 60s, and the riots, he told us. And so coming out of it, we got back together, and that Mr. and Mrs. George Lewis wanted to adopt us, and adopt me and my 3 brothers. And obviously my mom wasn't going to let that happen. And so we got back together as a family, moved into Aliso Village in Boyle Heights.
Okay.
And you imagine there's 10 of us in the family. Luego my neighbors, Cuco and Richard and those guys, they came over. So before you know it, we had 15, 20 kids at the house.
Right. And this isn't uncommon, right, in a lot of homes. No. That happened at our home, too. There was always other kids from the neighborhood there, and I know that my pops would feed them all, too, when they came, and there was nobody left without getting a bite, right?
Yeah, that's part of the culture. That's the beauty of the sarape, the multicolors that we have. Yeah, we have a multiracial, multicolors. There was blacks, there was Japanese, there was all kinds of folks there. And we all just ate together, and we hung out together. And I had the responsibility of watching those kids and watching those younger ones. And so with that being said, I got in trouble. I went over to the dark side. And I wouldn't listen. I was a rebellious teenager. And my dad told me, "Mijo, coming from a family of veterans, Mijo, you're in the Chicano movement. You're the president met you at Roosevelt. And you're in the Chicano movement and the walkouts y todo. And you better go to the Army before you end up in jail. Or dead and in jail."
And that was a real critical time, you know, with the moratorium, the riots, the Watts riots. I remember those very well from seeing them from Shelltown. But every California city had their share of riots, right? Because it was that time. And so the events now that led you to the Army and a very important career there, that's something, a story that needs to be told, because Chicanos are proud veterans, man.
Yes.
There's no one, Chicanos and Chicanas are proud veterans.
Yes.
There's no one else that takes so much pride in serving their country, yet people don't look at us when they see you cruising in your ride down there. They think something else instead of seeing a professional like you.
Absolutely, yes, sir. To that point, you know, Mexicanos, Chicanos, raza has fought in every war that this country has had.
Exactly.
And so it was no different in the 70s during the Vietnam era, 60s and Vietnam era war. And so my job I was in the military Army, and I was assigned to Fort Lewis, and I was a special weapons unit, and we were a nuclear ground support unit, the only one in the Western Hemisphere. And when I wasn't playing nukes, all the Chicanos would come up to the house, all the raza, all the guys, all the GIs come to the house, because I was married, and we would cook, and we'd pitch in and we'd hang out. And so we started a car club. Brown Pride.
Brown Pride. Okay.
Brown Pride. Cruising through Fort Lewis one day when the MPs surrounded us and said, "What are you doing?" We're cruising.
We're just cruising,
This is what we do. But they didn't understand that, especially the military. And so that led into me being assigned to the race relations, human relations for the Fort Lewis Post General.
Yeah, you know, I don't think a lot of people understand it or have ever heard that story, that you actually had a lowrider club in the military, and you were then assigned to facilitate the race relations with the Army.
Yes, and that launched and opened doors for us that we didn't imagine, because during that era you could have a golf club, you can have a swimming club, you can have a parachute club, but you couldn't have a private racial organization in the Department of Defense, in the military at that time. So we got together and we wrote up our articles and we wrote up our Constitution, and I submitted it to the General, and he forwarded it to DOJ, came back, and it says, "You are now allowed to have the first private racial organization in the history of the military."
Congratulations, brother. That is amazing.
So you can do it. Sí se puede.
Now that's a story I can bet that a lot of people have never heard, and it's never been told, and that's what we're proud of here at LA Boulevard News. We're going to tell those stories.
Yes,
so let's go on to talk about the Los Angeles Lowrider Alliance, because you're doing some really wonderful things, community-based events, giving back, sponsoring a lot of events that are helping the community. So talk to me about that.
Yeah, that's with a pleasure. I'm the proud founder of the Los Angeles Lowrider Alliance, and my staff is here today. And what we've done is basically, we're not a car club, although if you invite us to an event, we'd be glad to go. But we are the mechanism that puts cruising into place and allows it to continue and celebrate in its most positive and most powerful purpose. And we work with the churches, we work with schools. In fact, we even had an event here 2 years ago where we came and we presented the Zoot Zoots and the Chicano culture here at ELAC. And we go to the high schools. We're scheduled to go out this coming week. And what we do is we celebrate our culture. We celebrate the success, your success. We're here to celebrate everyone's success and to put the mechanism in place so that you can continue to celebrate and not be discriminated, and not be picked on, and not for the police not to pick on you because of the color of your skin. So we work with the local government, we work with local law enforcement, and we work to be able to put these things together to create a better bridge, build a better bridge.
And that's important. I know that there are police individuals that are lowriders, right?
Yes, sir.
And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's really critical to still change that stereotype that the police have about us. If you're cruising and you're brown, they're up to something negative, but rather
Right.
they should know that you're up to something positive, right?
Right. And with this in place, now that cruising is legal in the state of California, we're working on implementing and making change so that the police practices of pulling people over have to change also. You can't just pull me over because you're stereotyping me or
Right.
you're profiling me because of the color of my skin or because the color of my car or because of how it's loaded or not.
And you know, I have talked to many professional individuals that grew up like we did, poor, in the barrio, who have been profiled. And even myself as a college president, I was profiled and stopped. So it's still happening today. And so hopefully our viewers will gain a new understanding of the purpose and mission of the Los Angeles Lowrider Alliance. So as we close our program, what would you like to tell our viewers about the Alliance?
I would like to say Alliance means exactly that, lining up. Get in alliance, get it lined up with a car club, somebody that has a business, entrepreneurs, educators, get lined up and get united. So if we can show that there's unity in the community and that we're together and we're here to be able to change the negative image that the world has of us, and we tell our story, we tell our positive story in the positive light, and that we're not criminals, we're not lawbreakers, we are the legal alliance that goes out there and builds a better bridge for tomorrow.
Right. What a great message for our audience and for those here from ELAC, from East Los, from Boyle Heights, and from all the communities where the Chicano culture is still thriving, because it's our struggle. We've struggled as a community, as a culture, and here you are positively promoting that. So this is Dr. Jose Leyba signing off with Los Angeles Boulevard News and our guest, Art Limon, who will be taking over the show and conducting some interviews that we want you to stay tuned, because we will now grow this alliance, and you can download Latino USA TV app to see these interviews in the future. So keep a watch. In the next 2 or 3 months, we will be seeing these shows. So remember, the next time you see a lowrider, celebrate that. Enjoy it. Watch it. It's a beautiful culture. We're doing positive things. And so we hope to see you next time on La Plática and LA Boulevard News. This is Dr. Jose Leyba signing off. Muchas gracias y adiós.